quick intro into my second collaboration with the Cobra stacker. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup of tea or a drink of some description. Enjoy. See you later.
Okay. I don't know what I was going to say then, mate. I'm not organised at all this morning.
No.
Absolutely terrible. Okay, so we have Cobra Stacker on the channel, which is really cool. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, my friend. I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Had a really good weekend so far. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day to you. I had my little 5-year-old just do a video call. So, yeah, that was cool.
Oh, it's so cute. And it's special days, mate, special days.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is number 2 after our first video that we did a collaboration on. And it's now on my channel this time. And we're going to kick it off. I'm not going to muck around. And I was watching one of Cobra Stacker's videos a couple of days ago. And it was really interesting that Cobra Stacker put across his opinion on how he sees millennials looking at, well, not how he sees millennials, what he looks at with the millennials in stacking, investing, and I found it really interesting. So I watched it. I will put the in the description what that video is, if that's okay with you, Cobra Stacker.
Absolutely fine, no problem at all.
Cool. But that induced a question, and I want to put this to you, buddy. And I've written it down. So, question number 1, and we'll see where this goes. If you were 20 in the current financial situation that our country's in at the moment, and probably around the world, and living with your parents, what would you do from a financial investing saving point of view? Would you bother about it? Would you save traditionally in whatever traditional ways you can save? Would you invest and look to get on the property ladder?
Well,
answer it how you want to answer it, buddy.
well, it's a really awkward one. When you're 20 years old, it's about the mindset. Now, if we're talking about my mindset now, as a 20-year-old living at home, I would do everything differently to what I did. If you're talking about a 20-year-old who really hasn't experienced life that much, bills because he's still living at home and all that, so he hasn't really experienced that, it makes it a lot harder. So for me, as a 20-year-old with my brain now, I would be definitely using the opportunity of being at home with my parents to start saving in some way, shape or form. Now, we know that the banks aren't the best place to save. You need money in the banks to pay your bills, but for saving, it's not the best place. You're not getting a high enough interest to combat inflation, so your money is losing value all the time. So, I mean, we all know with gold and silver, that is a way to save money, but it doesn't give you a massive return unless it's over a period of time. But if you're 20 years old, then you have that period of time. So within 20 years, by the time you're 40, you will have a nice lump of money there because you've invested in gold and silver. Now, at 20 years old, you're probably not earning the sort of money that adults, like older people are. And so then it's a case of, well, I want to go and enjoy myself and I want to do this and there's nothing left. You know, there's no way I can save any money. Even £30 a month to buy one silver coin, like one Britannia, would be a start. And it will get you into the habit of doing something. I wouldn't say a 20-year-old should start investing in stocks and shares. That is gambling as such. So really, I mean, for me, gold and silver, definitely. Crypto, that's the young person's thing. I don't know much about it, to be honest. I know you know more, Creative Precious Metals. So crypto, yeah, not so sure. And what was the other one? There's a government one where you put money, the bonds. Is it premium bonds?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a way, if you can put a little money into premium bonds, it is probably the safest thing for your money. And, you know, there's a chance of a little draw where your tickets can win you some money. I did have money in premium bonds and it did okay for me. but it's a very safe way of saving. Then again, it's what the returns are on it. But still, for me, gold and silver wins the day as a young'un. Slowly stacking, and over time build it up.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to pick up on one of a few of the things. So we're going to go back to your very first what you said, and that's mindset, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I think mindset is a key to anything we do in life. So my question with the mindset, and I know lots of people have very different situations that they face in life. How do you get that mindset right?
Well, that's an awkward one. I mean, I actually left home at a very young age, and so I had to start working at a very young age. And yet, I'll see kids now. I call them kids; they're not necessarily kids. Young adults, let's say. I see young adults now who haven't got a work ethic at all. So that's a mindset about work. Um, the routine and what you do with yourself is how you'll get that mindset. So if you, as I say, if you start saving a little bit or even push yourself to save a little bit, then that's a start. It's when you don't do anything, you'll never come around to that mindset. Once you've got into a habit of something, like buying that 1 ounce of silver or that 10th of gold or whatever it may be in the beginning, that's how you build it, and stick to a regular plan, make it a habit. And once you form them habits, they go on with you in life.
Definitely, buddy. It's a hard one to put across to young people. From my point of view, obviously, I've got young children myself, and I've been young myself, like yourself. And sometimes we want to listen, sometimes we don't. But the foundations of what you're saying is just rings home. Or I can relate to it so much. So going back to mindset, it's more of an education discipline thing that do you advise that you or not advise, because we can't really advise, but from your experience, would you say that that self-motivation to get that mindset right through your own personal education and discipline is the way to go?
Absolutely. I mean, even with yourself, when you spoke about stocks and shares, and you spoke about crypto, and you said the first thing you did was to educate yourself. And I think that's absolutely right. And I think I spoke about when I did a bit of crypto, I hadn't educated myself, and I lost money because of that. So one, educate yourself. Watch YouTube, but be careful what you watch, because there are people who are trying to influence you. But also educate yourself into what is a high risk, what's a low risk, what's a good way of saving, and create those habits. I spoke to my son just the other day, and we were talking about gold and silver, and I said, son, and he works for me, he earns okay. He has got 3 kids, so he has a few expenses. And I said to him, I said, look, just start buying a little bit of silver, buy a little bit of gold. You can afford it, you can do it. You spend money on other things, which is a waste. And he turned around, he goes, oh, Dad, I don't know, I haven't really got the money. And I get it, it's tight, but you're making it, it's like saying, I need to go to the gym, but I haven't got time. It's an excuse. You're making excuses. If you want to make time, you can. And if you want to save money in one form or another, you can. So it's about stop making excuses and start doing it. And you don't have to start big, just start small.
Brilliant. Me and you really sing off the same hymn sheet, but it's one. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it really comes down to one day. I don't know if you agree with this, Cobra Circle, or not. One day you've got to make those decisions, and do you think that we've got maybe gone down a little way too far away from promoting that self confidence to educate yourself and mindset? Do you think we're more gone through, yeah, everything's going to be all right, we'll look after you, you don't have to worry about anything, everything's always going to be there for you, just go along with the system? Do you think that's happened too much now?
You're going to take me down a rabbit hole here.
Mate, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I think every generation gets softer and then it goes harder again. So let's say our parents had it very tough. Mine came over from India. They had to work extremely hard. My dad worked 3 jobs, 7 days a week, just to make it work. He tried to give us what he could, but we couldn't have everything. My mum also worked 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, or even 6 days a week. And so they had it very, very tough. Now, because we weren't given everything, we were still toughened up, but we were given some things. And so maybe we're a little bit softer than them. I know that I actually work really hard. I give it everything. So my generation now has worked really hard, made something of ourselves, and we've made our kids have a more comfortable life. Now, the trouble is they start becoming soft. Now, if you see my son, he'll go out and he'll loves his children, absolutely loves his children, will buy anything for them, do anything for them. They're going to be even softer. And so we get to a point, and we see it even in politics and the left and the sort of things they're coming out with. I really don't want to go down that road because that will just take me to another level.
Yeah.
But we see how we're mollycoddled, everyone's scared of everything, everyone's offended by everything and all that sort of stuff. So each generation gets softer until it breaks and it gets really hard. And this is because we've got softer. We're hitting things like massive inflations and no one can afford nothing. Everything's going up. And then it breaks and it gets really hard again. And the next generation toughens up. And then that whole cycle starts again. So yes, at the moment, I think we're in the generation where, it's people are not ready for it. They're just too soft. And that's the truth.
Yeah, great point. And I don't want this to seem like we're really going to bash the young people. That's definitely not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to say that, it's tough, but we've got to, part of that, getting that mindset right, is to realize the bigger picture and then hopefully make someone realize through that self-education that, okay, I can still do something. It's not the end of the world. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And you're right. I'm not trying to bash the young people now. I'm trying to say there are more important things out there. And as you get older, you're going to realize that if you concentrate on the things that will help you later in life, you're going to put yourself in a good situation and a stronger situation.
Okay, cool. Right, brilliant. I will just pick up on what you were saying about, you sort of staged it. We get a bit soft, and then all of a sudden we have to harden up. What do you think will happen to make us go through that transition between we've been too soft and now we've got to harden up, get a mindset right? What do you think could happen externally to make us all wake up and go, right, well, I think we need to look after ourselves a little bit better than this?
Well, I think we're sort of seeing it already, really. Each country isn't producing the way it would. Each country doesn't have people who are going out and working, and then they're talking about immigration to bring people in, which takes away from, let's say, the British people itself. But the British people at the moment aren't pushing themselves enough. And I think it comes to a breaking point where the younger generation, whether it be our next generation or the generation after that, will find they don't have a choice but to go out and work, or they don't have a choice but to live a certain way. And that's where it all switches around again and comes back on them and says, right, you haven't got a choice in this matter. You have to do it. It's an awkward one. It's seeing how the world is going at the moment and seeing what's going on, to which way it affects the young'uns. At the moment, they're so, and as I say, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm not putting the young'uns down, but they're so wrapped up in other issues, which to me, and maybe I'm wrong, are not important, that they're forgetting what is important, and that is looking after yourself, looking after your family, looking after your loved ones, and building a future for yourself.
Excellent. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. So, right, okay. So once we recognize all this, where would you start, Cobra Stacker? What would you do? You haven't got a lot of money, or okay, we'll go back to the original question. You're living with your mum and your dad, if you're lucky enough to be doing that at the age of 20, and you haven't got too much responsibility from a financial point of view. So you've got a bit of money every month. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you go full on let's get some silver, gold, crypto, whatever, just to dip your toe in the water and find out where you want to go and educate yourself? Or well, how would you do it? Or would you like not still want to be a 20-year-old and go out and with your mates and whatever?
Well, look, I mean, the thing is, I don't want to turn around and say to any young'uns that don't enjoy your life, the 20s is a great time to live. You do enjoy yourself, you do see your mates, but portion your money and try and stick to it. So, for instance, if you have to give your parents any sort of little bit of rent or money towards food or whatever, let's say just you're earning £1,000 a month, and that's just a figure to make it easy to work everything out, and you have to give your parents £200 a month. That's 20% gone to that. You can take 20% to things you may need, like clothing or anything like that, 20% to enjoying yourself and seeing your friends, 20% to saving in one way, shape, or form, either whether it be gold, silver, or whatever you study up on and learn, and 20% left in your bank for any emergencies. That's the way I'll do it. Portion your money out.
Yeah, definitely. So that sound it's really funny, isn't it? It isn't until it finally clicks that you realize, oh crikey, you haven't got to go mad. And I'll bring that conversation in with you now. Do you think that possibly younger people look at, well, I use your channel for argument's sake, or my channel, but to a lesser degree. Do you think that they can be blindsided a little bit by thinking, oh, I need all this now?
Yeah.
Oh God, I really can't get it now, so why bother? Poor old me. Da, 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 da. Does that make sense?
Absolutely right. And this is why on several of my videos, I will say, look, guys, please don't pay attention to the fact that I have built this stack of mine or collection of mine at such a fast rate. And you've got to remember, I only started stacking 8 months ago, but I'm 52 years old. So I'm in a very different position. And your average person cannot stack at that rate. And I don't want to discourage anyone by building that fast. I just give you the opportunity to see what's out there. But for the young'uns or for anyone, if you build slowly, you are building. If you buy one coin a month, you are building. And that is all going into a pot for your future. I started late. And as we've said, if I was 20 years old and I started now, it would be a totally different thing for me. So I started late. The way I've done it is wrong. But it's never too late is the answer to that. But for young'uns, don't be disheartened by what you see. Be encouraged by what you see. Look at it and go, yeah, I would like to do that. Okay, that's how much a gold ounce costs. That's how much a silver ounce costs. This is what I can afford to do. I can go fractional gold or whatever it may be. Learn from us. We're not trying to discourage you, and we're definitely not trying to show off. As I say, if you look at me, it's more a mistake that I hadn't started stacking a long time ago, and I'm just catching up, shall we say. And luckily, I'm in the position to do that. Don't be discouraged. Still start whenever you can.
So yeah, great answer, Cobra Stacker. It's great advice, really. The beauty that if you're male or female and you're 20 years of age, and I use my youngest son as a good example to that. He's got time. Time is a lovely asset as long as everything's good and he keeps you healthy, and hopefully everything's continues in a good way for him. You've got time, and this to me is one of the more important aspects to put across to young people that want to invest in their future, because like you're saying, you've realized it late, I've realized it late, so yeah, different circumstances, so I'm going to do a little bit more. But yeah, that is great advice. Time, and I think time is on their side big time, and to try and use their imagination a little bit and just think, yeah, I can be where Cobra Stacker is, or Creative Precious Metal is, or any of the other channels out there, if I just discipline myself and do a little bit at a time. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. Time is your biggest asset. I'm not, look, this is not doom and gloom, so I'm not saying I'm going to go tomorrow, but I have pushed myself into this because, as I said before, I want a pension plan for myself and I want something to leave my kids. But I could have done this throughout time from 20 years old, let's say, slowly and surely, and built up a load and be under no pressure to think about it now. And so you're absolutely right. Time, you're young, go for it, bit by bit, nothing fast. And you have all the time in the world.
Definitely, and that's probably one of the most important things to recognise, I think, because then you can structure and plan around how you want to invest, and start to set some goals. I'd love to set some goals of 40 years time, but I would personally say in 40 years time I'll be in a box in the ground rotting, being worm food probably.
Yeah, I can't look forward that far. I'll be very honest with you. And this is another thing the young'uns may think, and it depends on what circumstances they're in. I remember, and my life, it's been a bit tough, but I remember when I was 20, I said I'll never reach 25. And when I was 25, I'll never reach 30. When I was 30, I'll never reach 40, and so on and so forth. And it's gone on to that. And even now at 52, I'll say I won't reach 60. Now, if you think like that, believe me, you'll never do anything. So if you have that mindset, get out of it, because trust me, you'll be surprised how long you live. Your bodies are strong, and yes, we have problems, but you can carry on. So don't put things off because you think, well, I'm not going to make it till then, so what's the point? Plan for it, and if you don't make it, well, tough life.
Cool, yeah. Yeah, we have to be a bit tough and realistic with ourselves sometimes, Right, I'm going to dig into. That's really great so far. I think that's really sound bit of experience and life there, for sure. Yeah, back to your 20%. When you split it down, now that 20%, I know. Yes, if we look at lots of channels, it makes us all look like we're multimillionaires sometimes. I'm sure, but I'm definitely not. And I'm sure with my day-to-day interactions with people out there, I wouldn't have thought a lot of people have got a ton of money, especially in this day and age. But saying that, going back to your 20% breakdown, what would you do? Well, initially with that £10 a week or £100 a week or £100 a month or £10 a month, or how would you start to? What would you get you to put your foot in the door in investment? What would you just allocate? Would you go for one asset? Would you go for, let's start with silver, or would you go with gold, or a bit of both, or all the bits and pieces out there?
Well, look, I mean, a lot of times the advice is about diversifying, and I agree with that, because if you have all your eggs in one basket and something goes wrong with that, you lose everything. But when you're starting off and you're 20 years old, say, and it's only going to be £50 a month or £100 a month or whatever it may be, start off by concentrating on one thing and really learning on it. That's what I would say. For the first year, let's say, for instance, you go into crypto. And your first year, you're going to put 50 quid a month into Bitcoin, for instance. And this is not advice here because, we've got to be very careful with that. This is just my opinion. So the first year you decide you're going to do crypto and you put £50 a month in. At the end of the year, you've got £600 in crypto, and you've started learning, you've studied it, and you're learning how it goes up and down and what can affect it, and so on and so forth. Or in the same token, you start with silver or gold. And let's say you have £50 a month to put into silver. The same principle. Stick with it for a year and build up a certain amount. Then the next year you can say, okay, I'm going to diversify a bit and I'm going to go a bit into crypto or a bit into silver, whichever one you didn't do the first year. And you'll already start being in the habit. So you start buying, the first year you bought silver, the second year you start getting into crypto, you'll probably find yourself still buying a bit of silver. But stick to your plan of crypto as well, for instance. And that's how you'll build a portfolio of different things. If you can look at blue chip companies, which is a more stable stocks and shares type of thing, maybe look into that deeply before you start, is my advice or my opinion. But there's another angle. So start diversifying. I wouldn't carry on for years and years and years in one thing, learn all the stuff. But for me, the most stable investment or savings is in gold and silver, as in not a massive return necessarily, but definitely a safe way to keep your money.
Yeah, for sure. I think historically the records and data show that, don't they?
Yeah.
That's really cool. So that's great. So what would be a good bit of experience to put across is dip your little toes in the pond, get a feel for it, and then just move on from there. And what about education? Do you continually educate yourself on everything that's going on? Or?
Absolutely. It is so important to understand what you're putting your money into, what can go wrong. One way I can put it is whenever I started a new business or I looked at a new business, I would look at every negative first. And when I looked at the negatives, if I found a way that I could come around that negative and make it a positive, in the end, the business would take that same principle of looking at all the negatives first into my savings plans. So I'll look at all the negatives. It's not to put myself off from investing into something, it's to understand it. So educating yourself, understanding all the negatives, and also not investing what you can't afford to lose. With gold and silver, as I say, you're more solid. But with other things like crypto and stocks and shares, there is a possibility you could lose that money. So there's a safety nets you've got to look at. There's the teachings you've got to give yourselves, and look at all the negatives first.
Brilliant. So obviously it's not to go all in with £1,000 straight into a certain asset, or £100. You know, to some people, £10 is a lot of money. And to be fair, it is. And then just get in there and get into that habit, and then if it doesn't go quite right, because I'm a big believer in you never get it right, you got to fail, and the process is all about keeping those failures as inexpensive as possible.
Absolutely right. There are going to be mistakes you make in life, not only with money, with everything else. Learn from the mistakes, add that to your repertoire of information and knowledge, and move on from it. But definitely, there's so much to learn. There's so much to do, and I guarantee you, if you start doing this stuff, you'll find it enjoyable. You'll find it enjoyable because you'll see your money growing, and you'll feel a sense of achievement.
Brilliant stuff. This is really cool. From an experience point of view, I don't know about you, Cobra Stacker, but what is really cool that we can actually put across some experience here and just say, like, it is cool. We none of us get it all right. Life is tough enough. And some people have it a lot worse than others, but the principles of life is pretty tough. But it is our responsibility to ourselves to get through it the best way possible. And by listening to information from yourself and hopefully from my channel over time, that we can encourage people to say, yeah, okay, you're not on your own. You're not on your own here. We've done these things, and no doubt you guys that are watching will do the same, but in different circumstances. But it's cool. It's fine. This is what it is all about. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And knowing just from getting into this and talking to people on the communities and all that, so the Silver Forum, YouTube and all that, once you get chatting to people, you will find that the experienced members are so helpful. They will try and guide you in the right way or advise you in the right way, and you're not on your own. And as I say, just start slow, build slow, and you will achieve something. It will go right. And I've made mistakes. I mean, you can watch some of my videos and you will see some of the horrendous mistakes I've made in what I've bought or what I've spent. But I learned from it, and you don't lose the total value of what you bought. But yeah, you may lose a bit if you're not careful. So watch the videos, talk to people, and be careful about what you buy.
Yeah, and don't panic. Tomorrow will always be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're younger, you do panic about things, and things that really sometimes aren't as important as you think they are.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, I've had many experience going through life with that, and you come out of the other side and you think to yourself, what was that all about? What was going on there?
Definitely. That's happened to me on so many occasions, and it will happen to you young guys as well. Don't panic. I always say, if you have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food in your belly, you're okay. Everything else will come and go, but a roof over your head so you got shelter, clothes on your back so you're warm, and food in your belly. Everything else, you can make it work.
That's brilliant. So my little points I've got from your answers there, you might want to add to these, is obviously work on your own mindset, education all the time, and continued education, work in small amounts into your own budget, which is really important, without panicking. I'm gonna push you on a little bit of info on that panicking bit in a minute, and feel your way through it, and just don't be scared to ask questions, and watch as much information as you can, and then try and fit that into your own little pathway of life. Would that make sense?
Absolutely. And just one other point is, once you have decided to go in a certain direction, commit to it. So don't do it for 1 month. You buy one silver coin, let's say, and the next month you go, oh, but my mates are going out and we've got a stag do and I need the money for that. No, your commitment is to carrying on what you started. Because if you don't commit, you'll never achieve. So, take it on like that. And as I say, no one's saying not to enjoy yourself, but one of your bills will be to put that amount of money into whatever you're putting it into. So it's a commitment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely, great experience or advice there. Because if we don't commit to anything, and that can be applied to anything we do in life, like your job, your work, your family, your responsibilities, then you'll not struggle, but you'll keep going backwards until you work it out. Is that right?
You'll keep hopping from one thing to another.
Yeah, and from consistency of what you're saying within investment and stacking and getting the best out of your money, is key. So yeah, that's a great point, buddy. Really great point. I would like, when we say about fear, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you find, since you've been stacking Cobra Stacker, how that fear is represented through, because obviously social media seems to be playing a massive part in young people's lives. And to be fair, I'm in it too. I can't seem to get away from it. It's really strange, really strange. But that fear factor, do you think that fear is evenly balanced with encouraged type of videos that we're trying to do, or is it too sort of one-sided, one-weighted? And what's your reasons why do you think that's out there?
There are a lot of videos out there which are creating fear and trying to push people into a certain way because of that fear. Whether it be CBDCs, whether it be bank collapses, whether it be the fiat currency totally collapsing. There are so many videos. I mean, you could literally sit there and put the fear of God into yourself constantly by watching it. Take away the noise. Take away the noise. And as I said, educate yourself. Don't be pushed. Don't let anyone push you into anything, as in, oh, you must buy gold and silver now. It's the most important thing because everything's going to collapse and the world's going to end tomorrow and you must have 10 tons of gold. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Calm down, slow down, watch things because you can gather bits of information, but also watch who's putting that information out there and why they're putting that information out there. Are they linked to a bullion dealer? Are they selling gold and silver themselves? Are they into crypto and so they're trying to guide you a certain way with that? People have got ulterior motives for the videos they put on YouTube, and that causes fear. And we've all heard of FOMO, fear of missing out. They push that agenda on us. So do your own homework, calm the fears, take out the noise, and concentrate on what you're doing.
Yeah, I can't agree. I love the way you put that across, take away the noise, because it is just massive amount of noise out there that you can just get so embroiled into. And like at the end of all my videos, I always put a little thing up: trust nobody, including myself. Verify everything. I love that.
I absolutely agree. You're 100% right. Check everything out, double check it. Don't become a sheep. And what we find is someone will put something out there on social media, everyone will jump on it. Next thing it's a conspiracy theory. Next thing it's a fact. And realistically, it was never a fact in the first place. So yeah, question everything. And I think you're absolutely right. Not in a bad way. When we say never trust anyone, it's not, you have to trust people sometimes, but yes, in general, don't trust everyone.
Oh, 100%. I don't mean it like you walk around life with a cage around you and you don't trust anyone. There's lots of people I trust, but that verification that I'm on about has been built over time and through different experiences with those people. And that makes logic. I can personally then trust them for what our relationship is worth. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also I think it's important to remember there's always two sides of a story. So if you see something that says, I don't know, CBDCs are going to rule the world and they're going to stop you using the money how you want to, look for a video with the opposite angle. And so you can balance the view and balance how it may be. There's always two sides to a story.
Yeah, 100%. I can't disagree. I think I posted on a video a little while ago. It's just as important to watch videos or read books or just consume talk to people that you don't necessarily agree with, because you just don't know that something may come from that conversation or learning experience that may just make you think slightly differently. And if it does that and has a good impact on what you're trying to do, it was always worth it.
Absolutely right. I can't agree more.
Excellent. So with the fear, I'm gonna ask you about this. Now, there's a lot of how do I put this without making it sound awful? Probably from 2020, what we all went through globally, fear to me has become a big manipulating tool that people can make lots of money out of. Now that's really difficult. Why do you think? Oh, sorry, I'm going to put this into a sort of a double question. Do you think that young people, and that is not just necessarily a young thing, we've got so disillusioned by life as a rule, and now we see success and we want to grab it really quickly, and and I know that success from a financial point of view doesn't come overnight unless someone comes and knocks on the door with a big pot of gold and gives it to you, which hasn't happened in my life. I don't know about you, Cobra.
Unfortunately not. No, it hasn't happened for me.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do you think that the mindset of most people, probably in the Western world anyway, has got so desperate, then they just or we can all, and I'm just as guilty, we can all look at something and think, yes, I really need to do this, and yes, I need to put everything, and that's that noise, isn't it? And that's the difficulty. That's where the experience comes in, to look through that noise and go, whoa, hold on a minute. There's something else going on here. Is this the right thing? Do you get my drift?
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. People have got to a stage where they want to make money quick, and they're looking for angles to do that. So with the youth of today, I don't know if you follow, well, probably don't follow, but if you know about the grime artists and all that lot, they're out there and they are all looking to get onto it quick and make a load of money. Or there are videos on YouTube which are pushing you to gold and silver, and people may look at it and think, I can make money really quickly by doing that. Or even setting up a YouTube channel. You may think, I could set up a YouTube channel and make money quick. Guys, I've got one thing to tell you. Yes, there are a very small percentage, maybe less than 1%, who may hit it lucky in any of these fields or any other fields where you're looking for a get rich quick scheme. But the average person has to graft, and it takes time. It has taken me 35 years of real graft to get anywhere near to where I am now. And that only happened in the last 10 years, 8 to 10 years. So look, look, if something comes up and an opportunity comes up, notice your opportunities, and of course take it if you can, but don't hedge all your bets on that quick fix, because it's not going to happen to the average person.
Great. It's a great answer, and I'm always like this with my kiddies, and I say kiddies, they're grown up, but I call them my kiddies. But I would always say that I'm so got the same experience as you. It's hard. I think until you can get your mindset right to say, oh, it's and get away from this. Oh, it's unfair. And yes, I can agree. Some people have a real bad start, and they don't get supported. But as a rule, most of us hopefully do get a bit of support, and hopefully through these channel collaborations, we can start to put it out verbally and just say, like, you're not on your own. It's really important to follow. I've lost my mindset there, because I always get really emotional with it. I'd like to see people supported more instead of this bombardment of you must do this, you must do that, and get that self-support going again. I think it's critical, probably for all of us as a nation, to realize that and get going.
Absolutely, and it is tough out there, and I know a lot of young'uns have it very tough now. It's a real hard situation, but instead of, as you say, maybe looking at that and thinking, oh, poor me, fight back, push harder, and push yourself to make it. It's not been easy. In every generation, there are problems. There are some who make it, and they have the support financially to put into business or whatever else. And there was others like me who didn't have any financial support, and we just grafted. Don't give up. Keep fighting, and don't worry. It will happen for you.
Well, I think that's probably a great way to start to wind this one down there, buddy. That I could just talk on forever.
Absolutely.
And ever. And I would love to explore different angles of how you see the wonderful inflation that I see as an elephant in the room at the moment. But thank you very much. I think I started off with one question, and for the best part of 40 minutes with well, you've definitely answered it in a brilliant way. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Creative Precious Metals, obviously, for having me on your channel. And we'll do this weekly, and we'll swap the channels each time. Everyone support both of us. That would be great. I've really enjoyed this. It's a good way of trying to help the young'uns, trying to help people to understand things. And I think these are going to get better and better. Yeah,
absolute sure. I'll put everything on the description here. Please go check out Cobra Stacker. And a bit of a lighter note, to me, he's the GOAT of stacking, and what a privilege it is to watch what he's doing. If you saw his latest video, which I saw this morning, on that 1 of 1 coin, kilo coin, had to be a kilo, didn't it, Cobra Stacker?
Oh, a kilo silver coin is my favorite type of coin, and I had that specially made by Silver Angel. Absolutely stunning piece. So yeah, if you get a chance, have a look at it. It's a 1 of 1. There's only one in the world, and it is phenomenal.
But buddy, it's always a pleasure, and I get just as excited when you post a video and I think, what's he bought now?
Oh, there's a few more nice things coming. They're on their way.
Yeah, I'm loving the Lambo in the background, buddy.
Well, I'll give you a little hint on what's going to happen with that. I love Lego. It's my chill out, peaceful thing. So I will do a video on my channel, which will describe, I'm setting up my studio. I have the Eiffel Tower, which is Lego's new biggest model. And every time I do a video, you'll see a little growth on this Eiffel Tower. So we're going to mix it in a little bit.
That's super cool, that is, because we can see it be built
Over a period of time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's really cool. So, mate, I'm going to wrap that up. Thank you so much. We'll obviously keep everyone posted. What would be really cool, check out Cobra Stacker's channel, for sure. You won't be disappointed. If you like looking at shiny things, that's the place to go. And the input from, obviously, as we all heard today, Cobra Stacker has got plenty to offer across the line. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be doing this with you, for sure. And I look forward to doing a lot more. If anyone's got any comments, please comment. If anyone wants us to particularly talk about certain things, and I really encourage you young guys, ladies, gentlemen, please don't be scared. Ask. We might know, or we might have experienced something that we can just help you on a little bit on your journey. Yeah, please reach out. That'd be really cool. Go to Cobra Stacker. I know Cobra Stacker's channel is very receptive to questions and comments, and mine too. But I look forward to doing the next one on your channel.
Great stuff. We will set up another one, and that will come out next Sunday, same sort of time. Guys, thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Give us loads of comments, and let's see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. You have a good day.
Take care, my friend.
Well, that was cool. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, some great, interesting viewpoints there. I love it, listening to Cobra Stacker's experience. I hope you all got something from that. Please like, subscribe. Please like and subscribe to this channel and Cobra Stacker's channel. Look forward to hearing your comments. Take care of yourself. See you later. Bye-bye.